I'm out here without a shelter. No tent, no tarp, no bivvy, no sleeping bag, no sleeping pad, and to top all that off, we have rain on the forecast, so I had better get busy. The aim is to build a quick survival shelter that I can spend my time cooped up in to avoid the rain and sleeping in overnight. So it needs to be two things, two of the most important things: waterproof and insulating. We're going for the typical no frills A-frame survival shelter. We have our two Y branches acting as supports for the spine of the shelter, and that spine of the shelter is being raised up by the log at the back just to give us a tad bit more room. Now to insert the ribs, if you will. So all these tiny little twigs here are going to help capture the debris that we throw on top. Just a mess of sticks and twigs all weaved together, interwoven, and just the whole point of it is to prevent the leaves and the debris from falling through the shelter. So I may need to add more sticks in certain places, but for now, I'm gonna crack on and get some debris on this side. That's one side of the shelter done, onto the other. So this side looks pretty well covered. This side, however, there's a few little pinholes. So what I'm going to do is just throw a whole bunch more leaves on both sides just to make sure we can't see any light through them. Big rain's coming down. This is unexpected. Weren't expecting any rain until later this evening. Shelter build is obviously incomplete. We still need to get a better boughs in here to insulate us from the ground. But yeah, it just came down. Just managed to get my waterproofs on, grab a bag, and then get in here. Hopefully it passes over quickly enough so we can continue with the shelter build, gather some firewood, and then get warm. Calmed down ever so slightly now, and while we're out here, I want to show you guys the inside and show you how good 20 minutes or so of rain so far, heavy rain, torrential rain, and how we're doing on the inside of the shelter. So we have a few drips going on. We got one right here, and there's some more at the back. That's no problem. For the most part, it's drier in here than it is out here. So to rectify that, we're just going to gather some more leaves and throw it over. Just keep building up on the leaves there. For the most part, it's waterproof. As I say, it's drier in there than it is out here. Obviously, we weren't supposed to have any rain until the early hours of the morning and tomorrow morning, but this is a good test that allows me to see where I need to build up on the debris. You know, ultimately, if you're in a survival situation, you're never going to have a completely waterproof shelter. You're never going to be able to create that within a matter of hours. There's always going to be flaws, there's always going to be faults, but if it allows you to stay just that little bit more dry than it would be without it, that's the whole purpose, right? It's been raining for a good hour now, solidly, heavily in most cases. And you may be able to tell, but I've got a bit of the sniffles right now. It's good. It's a good day for it. Get rid of some of these little weed. So I figure, while we wait, we may as well make ourselves a little coffee. Peanut butter sandwich. Our hands dry. Don't want to make it no soggy bread on our peanut butter sandwich. Always carry a bandana. One for me, one for them. Cheers. So the rain's finally settled down. Just been spending the remainder of the daylight collecting firewood, developing some kindling, making some feather sticks here to give us the best possible chance at creating that fire. I've got the XL ferro rod right here. Any ferro rod will do, but the advantage to having a larger one is all to do with kind of dexterity, especially when it's winter, it's cold, our hands, our fingers don't perform as well as they do when they're warm. So just being larger makes it easier to grasp. You get a few bit more sparks from it, and it's also going to last longer. I did have a wolf and grizzly ferro rod, don't know where that went. That was an awesome piece of kit. It had a striker that you could actually resharpen when it got dull, but who knows what happened to that. This is a ember rock ferro rod, relatively cheap to be honest for the price, but I mean, yeah, it throws some good sparks. The striker is the generic, you know, multi-tool, but you know, again, that gets the job done. So we've got our birch scrapings here, just been running the knife along that and just gathering as much as possible, because the more the merrier, right? Put it out, didn't I? Just like that. And I got some shavings here. Throw some of those on. Alright, gonna place the shavings just there. Just let it do its thing. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. So ultimately, what it really all boils down to is preparation, right? You could have never used a ferrocerium rod in your life, but as long as you're prepared, all you got to do is throw those few sparks. It will catch, and you're good to go. Preparation is the way to go. Collect as much dust, as much scrapings as possible, because it only takes a single spark. I haven't used the old ferro rod for a while, so that was fun. Got my Wayfair meal here. Horrible. So this video is all about, under the assumption maybe you've gone hiking or something, you've got a meal with you, you've got some water with you, something to cook it with, coffee, but nothing else, no tent, no tarp, no shelter, and so you do what you have to do, right? Of course the shelter isn't perfect, it's a long way from it, but it keeps out the worst of the rain, and yeah, that will do me. Wasn't expecting all that rain this afternoon. That came out of nowhere and it hung around for a while, and then it's starting to feel unwell at the same time. It's just yeah, it's one of those days. But right now I'm good, having something to eat, I'm warm. I'm hoping that when we crawl into here tonight, that the heat from the fire will reflect off the reflector, and we'll get some of that into here. I'm gonna have to baby the fire for, well, probably all night. We'll have to collect some more firewood. But I'm not uncomfortable, so I'm gonna finish up my meal, stay warm by the fire here, and I'll see you when I see you, which again, probably in the morning. We didn't have rain throughout the night, but come the morning, it is here when it's supposed to be here. Wasn't a pleasant evening. Fortunately, it didn't get all that cold. This would have been a lot harder to do in January, February. The wet weather gear holds a lot of heat. Also, I kept the fire going for most of the night. A couple of hours ago, I just let it die out. It's gonna be light soon. But the advantage of me being unwell, I actually got to sleep a little. But psychologically, you're out here without a tent and a sleep system. Your subconscious is thinking, what the f are you doing right now? You can't sleep, but it's all in good fun. Yeah, good fun. Keep doing your thing, and I'll see you on the next one.